Good morning, friends. How are you all doing today? Shema Yisrael Asher Eloheinu Yahweh Echad. Good morning, Anastasia. Good morning, Viber. Vibe Random. Random Vibe. That's a nice name. How are you doing today? So we can start out this morning, as we start out every morning, in the book of Deuteronomy. So, the plot of this story. Good morning, Maya. Good morning, Zeromancer. It's been a while, Zeromancer. Nice to see you. Good morning, Tara. So, we can start with the book of Deuteronomy, where, so the fiction goes, there are a people wandering in the desert, seeking a home. Good morning, MJ. They don't yet have a name, but they call themselves Israel, and their intention is to start a kingdom. In actuality, they've already started the kingdom, and they are now inventing a story about their own birth, which justifies their occupation of the land. And so the Israelite priests invented a character called Moses. And Moses invented a character called Yahweh. And both of these characters became so powerfully convincing, so powerfully effective in structuring the psyches of hundreds, thousands, millions of people, that they effectively became real. And these fictional characters become real. Say the following words to the people wandering in the desert, looking for a home. ואהבת את ענת אלוהיך ובכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודייך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, ושבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשכבך ובקומייך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, וחיו לטוטפות בין עינייך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. Good morning, Katina. Good morning, ABJ. Good morning, good time, Coda. How are you all doing? So what do those words mean? Well, the first 6 words, the most repeated 6 words in Judaism, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Yahweh Eloheinu Asher Echad. Listen, you who struggles with God, Israel struggling with God on the rock. Listen, the children of he who struggles with God. Yahweh Eloheinu Asher Echad are one. All of these characters you're struggling with, all of these ideas, contradictory ideas about the nature of reality, they are all one, like a serpent eating its tail. I was singing in Hebrew, death. These are Hebrew prayers. We're reciting from the book of Deuteronomy. And what the book of Deuteronomy says next, after it says, hey, listen, God is one, whatever that means, hard to say. Whatever it means, take to heart these instructions that I charge to you today. These instructions that I'm sending through the ether to you. Impress them upon your children. Recite them when you stay at home and when you are awake, when you lie down and when you get up. Bind them as a sign on your hand, just like this, and let them serve as a symbol on your forehead. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Repeat me, the meme says. The meme says, repeat me. And every day for the last 2,500 years at least, someone on this planet has said those words. And that's pretty special, don't you think? I like to be part of that long line of human beings who have said these words every single day for a period of time longer than anyone can possibly remember. But there's more. There's more to remember. And so then Moses says, after telling the people, hey, monotheism is the way, and then telling the people, hey, repeat that monotheism is the way, then Moses says, V'chaya, ki v'yachayu Elohecha el ha'aretz asher nispai lavotecha le'avram li'Yitzchak u'Yaakov latet lach avrim gedolot v'tovot asher lo vanita uvatim mili'im kol tuva asher lo mileta uvrot hatzavim asher lo asapta kerarim v'zitim asher lo natata ve'alachta v'shavata hishamer lecha pen tishkach et Yahweh asher tishalcha mi'eretz Mitzrayim mibet avadim. That is the most wonderful thing I could hear. Thank you, Serena. That's amazing. I'm so happy to hear that. Back the blue. No, I'm not Christian. We're pretty firmly in Jewish theology here. Pretty firmly. For now. We'll see. We'll move on elsewhere in a little bit. So what does that mean? Well, the English goes, when Yahweh, Eloheinu, these gods that are one, this one God, Yahweh Eloheinu, brings you into the land that he swore to your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to assign to you, great and flourishing cities that you did not build, houses, full of all good things that you did not fill, hewn cisterns that you did not hew, vineyards and olive groves that you did not plant, and you eat your fill. Take heed that you do not forget Yahweh, who freed you from the land of Egypt, the house of bondage. Remember, Yahweh says, that you live on stolen land, that the land of Israel was stolen from other people, the Philistines, the Amorites, the Egyptians, whoever it was stolen from. Depends on who you ask, but it was certainly stolen. No one contests that. Remember that. Remember when you drink from cisterns that you didn't hew, when you eat from vineyards that you didn't plant. And you know what? I do that every single day. There's a cistern up on the hill. I live on a farm in a valley. And there's a cistern that was dug 150 years ago by someone I will never meet and will never know their name. And that is where my water comes from. And I eat from vineyards that I did not plant. I did not purchase this house, and yet it is mine. What is this? Remember, says Yahweh, that you live on stolen land. All of this land here was stolen. It belonged to the Oneida people, and before that, who knows? And I've been to Israel. I've drunk from cisterns that I didn't hew there, too. I've eaten from olive groves I didn't plant there, too. I've seen what they do to those old olive trees. Dig them up and place them on the highway medians to give a sense of age. Steal them. Steal them from the Palestinians who used to own them. Thus is our inheritance. And Yahweh says, remember that all of this was not originally yours and could just as easily be taken away. I could just as easily return you to the house of bondage. What a threat. What a God to threaten his people like that. Is that the kind of God we want to be worshipping? We may not have a choice. That's the scary thing about it. You may not have a choice, just as you cannot choose whether or not you live on stolen land. Good morning, Clee. Sky Marie, my day is going great. How is your day going? Alicia, I'm so happy you're here. I'm so happy you're here. What is this? You don't come off rude. I'm saying my morning repetitions. I repeat sacred words every morning, and I like to do that with you all. So these sacred words are from the book of Deuteronomy. And now we're going to shift, although still within the realm of Judaism, because there are two prayers that are said by Orthodox Jewish men that I have modified slightly. I modify things, you know, and adapt them to the current circumstance. So every morning, Haredi Jews, Orthodox Jewish men with peyot like this, but, you know, thick beards, they say, Baruch atah Yahweh, Eloheinu melech haolam, shelo ashani isha. Thank you, Natasha. Thank you so much. I repeat the name of Yahweh Eloheinu. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who did not make me a woman. That's not one of the things that Yahweh does. He doesn't do that. I do that. I made me a woman. And so the next prayer, I modify a little bit more to remember Asherah, Yahweh's wife. The time passed before the kingdom of Israel. Yahweh had a wife, you know. Her name was Asherah, and we can say, Baruch atah Asherah, Anat malecha ha'olam, asher yitzaret ha'adam b'chachama u'vera ve'o. I repeat the name of Asherah Anat, who made me with many openings and cavities. This is one depiction of Asherah. This is a replica of a kind of figurine which was found all over ancient Israel, dated to about 3,000 years ago, before they stopped being made, before the hegemony of Yahwistic monotheism came into full force. Asherah was around. People worshipped her at the base of olive trees. Asherah made me with many openings and cavities. How nice. So, the prayers from this time, what are we learning today? We're learning a bit of Jewish history through Jewish theology. May I ask my pronoun if I have a preference? I do have a preference, and that's a very polite way of asking, but my preference is a little bit complex. So whenever I get that question, and I get that question every single day, I share this graph. I asked you all on TikTok what you thought my gender was, and this is what your responses were. Most people think I use she pronouns, which I like. Some people don't. These are all my pronouns. They're all pronouns that people use for me, therefore they are my pronouns. Alright. Yes, Asherah. Asherah was an ancient Canaanite goddess. One of many. And there was a thing that happened 2,500 years ago, in 586 BCE. The Babylonian Empire came and destroyed Jerusalem, and they destroyed the temple, and they raped, and they pillaged, and they installed foreign gods, and they deported all of the priests of Israel to Babylon. And this provided those priests with an opportunity, a catastrophic opportunity, a traumatic opportunity, but nonetheless an opportunity to reshape their religion in their own image, right? And so there are all of these other gods and goddesses that were worshipped in the land, and they contrived a story which said that the reason why the Babylonians were able to come and destroy Jerusalem was because in Jerusalem the people had been worshipping Asherah. This was their story. Asherah was their scapegoat. And they effectively destroyed her cult. They had been trying for hundreds of years before this. But when the Babylonians came and destroyed the city, the priests were able to destroy the idea of the goddess. Not completely, but thoroughly enough that her name was largely forgotten until it was remembered by archaeologists. That's not true. I mean, the name of Asherah is all over the 5 books of Moses, but nonetheless, she was largely forgotten. And so we need to remember her. And so here's a song, modern Jewish song by Leonard Cohen. Disobedience and compromise and complaining almost destroyed them. Yes, that was their story. You're disobeying gods. You're disobeying Yahweh's word. You're complaining. You're not grateful enough, right? All of these excuses. Like, what actually destroyed Jerusalem? Geopolitical forces, right? Like, it had nothing to do with Yahweh and people's obedience to him, but they invented a compelling story that it was nonetheless. And through that, they created a people. They created an immortal people. And that's what the book of Jeremiah says. It says, like, I will cause you to suffer, and through this suffering, I will make you immortal. Not so different from the story of Jesus 500 years later, 600 years later. It's the same story. It's always the same story. From death comes life. From life comes death. And one way we can tell that story goes like this. I came upon a wedding that old families had contrived, with Bethlehem the bridegroom and Babylon the bride. Oh, great Babylon was trembling, and she stood there naked with me. And Bethlehem inflamed us both like the shy one at some orgy. And when we fell together, all our flesh was like a veil that we had to draw aside to see the serpent eat its tail. Oh. Some women wait for Jesus, and some we wait for Cain. But I'll hang upon this altar, and I'll hoist my axe again, and I'll take the one who finds me back to where it all began. When Jesus was the honeymoon, and Cain was just the man. And we'll read from pleasant Bibles that are bound in blood and skin, that Asherah is gathering all her children back again. Bibles bound in blood and skin. Indeed. Remember, And Yahweh could return you to the house of bondage at any moment. Remember. You are so welcome, Holly. You are so, so welcome. So, now we can shift gears a little bit. Good morning, Megan. Good morning. Sons of Sons on YouTube explains the repetition of stories through time. Interesting. I'll check that out. If you'd like, you can join my Discord server and post a link there. I would check it out there. That would be really great. I would appreciate that. Dr. Nerd. This stream is actually full of peace and spiritual clarity if you just listen. Thank you, Hey Dudette. Am I Jewish? Yes, indeed. I am Jewish. Good morning, Amy. Good morning. So, now we're going to shift traditions a little bit, right? So we've spent some time with the Abrahamic faiths. And, you know, they're powerful in their own way. Rather scary. But there are other traditions that I've learned in my life, other traditions that I've been exposed to. And a major one is the Shivananda yoga tradition. So Shivananda was a... Oops. Oh, no. There we go. Shivananda was a guru, an Indian guru, who in the 50s sent a bunch of missionaries to the United States to start ashrams. And one of them is not far from where I grew up. And I spent time in this yoga school, basically, is what it is. And I learned some of their liturgy. And we're gonna repeat some of it right now. So this is a prayer that is typically recited before pranayama practice. Pranayama being breath meditation, breath regulation. Sometimes I do pranayama on this stream, so if there are some regulars here who are interested in pranayama, you let me know, and after breakfast we could do some. Alright, Hope. Have a wonderful day, Miss Roses. Have a wonderful day, Miss Rose Shade. So, the Shivananda Dhyana Sloka goes like this. Kajananam Hudaganati Sevitam Kapita Jambupala Sarabakshitam Ummasitam Sakavinasakarnam Mahamitim Divyamayuravahanam Ridasyasinam Sarasananatam Guham Sadanam Saranam Prapadye Yaku Handuti Sarahara Devala Yasubravasvarita Yavinavarandamanditakara Yasvita Padmasana Yabrahmachuta Sankara Pratrapi Devasata Pujita Samampatu Saraswati Bhagavati Nihesajadyapaha Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Sachidananda Murtaye Nisparanchaya Santaya Shishivanandaya Te Namaha Shri Vishnudevanandaya Te Namaha Om Sarva Mangla Manglaye Shive Savarta Sadike Saranye Trayambake Gauri Narayani Namostute Narayani Namostute Om Ha 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 I salute the three-eyed Divine Mother Narayani, who brings auspiciousness and fulfills desires. Shalom from New York, Organized Chaos. I'm glad you like learning about Jewish history, Sky Marie. Good morning, Ava. How are you? How are you? Thank you for being here with me today. Every hate comment gives me more traction in the eyes of the algorithm. I'm glad you know this. I know this. I think the trolls know this too, which perplexes me. I'm not entirely sure what their motivation is, but they must know that every time they comment, more people join the stream, right? They must know that. It's funny. You're wonderful. Well, that's good. So, now we can move on to the Maharityunjaya mantra. This is another prayer to another three-eyed god, and it goes like this. Trayambakam yajamahe sigandim pushche vardhanam Oiva, Rukami Bavandanan, Mritya, Mukshiyamamritatvaham, Trayambakam Yajamahe, Sugandim Pushchivardhanam, Oiva, Rukami Bavandanan, Mritya, Mukshiyamamritatvaham, Trayambakam Yajamahe, Sugandim Pushchivardhanam, Oiva, Rukami Bavandanan, Mritya, Mukshiyamamritatvaham, Sarvesham, Swastir Bhavatu, Sarvesham, Shantir Bhavatu, Sarvesham, Purnam Bhavatu, Sarvesham, Mangalam Bhavatu, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina, Sarve Santu Nimramaya, Sarve Padrani Pashantu, Makashid Dukabhagbhave, Asatoma, Sadgamaya, Tamasoma, Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma, Mritam Gamaya, Om Purnamadam, Purnamidam, Purnat, Purnamudachate, Purnasya, Purnamadaya, Purnameva Vishishate, Om Shanti, 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 Om Peace, Peace, Peace. We praise the fragrance that sees with 3 eyes and enhances prosperity. May we be liberated from the bondage of death like the watermelon, which separates effortlessly from the vine. Let them not turn us away from immortality. This outer world, all this, it's full. And this inner world in here, it's also full. And from fullness comes fullness. And if you take fullness from fullness, well, fullness remains. Infinity minus infinity is still infinity. George Cantor said that. Om, peace, peace, peace. So, there's another song that I like to repeat at this point in the stream. It's by an American folk group called Edward Sharpe and Magnetic Zeros. And, sometimes there's a lot of value in repeating words in an ancient language that I cannot possibly ever truly understand or speak fluently. And other times, translation is necessary, and the lyrics of this next song in English capture for me why I do this perhaps better than any of the other prayers that I repeat. Similar to the Vyahavta, this is a prayer about prayer and what it means to be repeating words over and over and over again. Yes, we're talking about Jewish history. Thank you, Sky Marie. You're so welcome, MGN. How do I make peace with the first commandment when reciting prayers for other gods? Well, listen carefully. Holy guacajole. Listen carefully, and the answer to that question is in this next prayer. It goes like this. I don't want to pray to my maker, no. I just want to be what I see. Not just who I am, but the pink in golden land and that wide, wild sky over me. Help me to the sun, hey, I'm looking everywhere. See, I'm looking to become not the prayer, but the prayer. And I don't want to pray, no. I don't want to pray, no, no, no. I don't want to pray, we don't want to pray. Pray, and it's not much good to talk, better to walk it. Not much good to take, better to give. We are done, forgiven, and forgotten of our sins, and I promise you, my friends, all that dies will live again, so pardon, God and Mom. What I'm saying isn't fair. See, I'm looking to become not the prayer, but the prayer, and I don't want to pray, no. I don't want to pray, no, no, no. I don't want to pray. We don't want to pray. Pray. I love Allah, Allah made love. And Yahweh, Yahweh made hate. Asher, Asher, I made good. And a not, not made bad. Eloheinu made love, and Yahweh, Yahweh made hate. I love Allah. God made. But I don't want to pray to my maker. I just want to be feeling free. Not like in a book, or the leaves of trees that shook from a word which means only not a thing. No. Pardon, God and Mom, what I'm saying isn't fair. See, I'm looking to become not the prayer, but the prayer, and I don't want to pray, no. I don't want to pray, no. I don't want to pray, we don't want to pray. Pray. I love Allah, Allah made love, and Yahweh, Yahweh made hate. Asher, I made good, and a not made bad. Eloheinu made love, and Yahweh, Yahweh made hate. I love Allah. God made me. Except that's a lie. You know that, right? Who said that? Someone in the stream just now said that. Yes, it's a lie. None of those gods exist. They're all made-up characters, like Harry Potter. And the reality is, I made me. Or you all are making me right now. You're helping me make this image of myself. This image of myself that could not exist without this dialectical interaction. So, the prayer says, not like in a book, or the leaves of trees that shook from a word that means only not a thing. In the beginning there was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word created a tree, and the tree created the law, right? We're familiar with this story. The law was in the Word. The first commandment, thou shalt not take the Lord's name in vain, something like that. Thou shalt not worship other gods. There was a theology that was developed not that long ago, 2,000, 3,000 years ago, which said that in the beginning was a symbol, and that symbol created all. And in fact, just a single name, Yahweh, Hashem, Adonai, however you want to call it, the symbol that transcends all other symbols. And what does the symbol mean? From a word that means only not a thing. No. God was outside of the world, and yet he created it in his image. I have no requirement to accept this kind of hubris, the hubris of a man who looks around himself, looks at all of the grandeur of the universe and says, you know what? I can name it all. I was here first. It's absurd. No one was here first. The whole thing emerged over 3.8 billion years. And yet this Cloud King throwing thunderbolts in the sky wants to claim that he made all of it because he was capable of swallowing it up and destroying all of the other gods. There's no need. There's no need to take that seriously, to take that literally. This is the megalomania of a set of kings, of Josiah and Hezekiah, a set of kings fearful that Marduk is going to come down from his mountain and destroy their mountain sanctuary. And then it happened. And so they encoded it into their holy books. I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense to you. Let me see. Who made that comment? How do I rectify this with the first commandment? Holy guacamole. I don't know if that makes sense. Looks like it made sense to you. Yes, this is my take on Judaism. This is my take. Here I am on TikTok telling you how I understand the Word of God. Which, of course, is not the Word of God. It's the word of priests from 2,500 years ago. Right? And, they understood some things, right? They lived through great trauma. They witnessed a foreign people come and destroy their city and cart them off as refugees. That was their experience, right? That experience which was not terribly different whatsoever from the experience of my grandparents, who were ripped from their homes, had their families killed in gas chambers, right? This is our history. So what does it mean to have a God who lets this happen, who has so much pride that he would insist on genocide to his people in order to convince them of his power, right? This is Yahweh's mania. So it goes. We named it the Grand Energy God and anthropomorphized it into a patriarchal creator. Indeed. Indeed we did. So, we can conclude the, Shalom, I am with you too. I'm so glad you appreciate it, Serena. Evolving love, thank you. So we can conclude our mantra portion of this stream with an arati. The word arati means flame in Sanskrit. Light, flame. Here we have a little flame. And the refrain of this prayer is Jaya Jayarati. We wave the light. And then we repeat various names of gods. And, from various traditions, most of them Indian traditions, but also, Jesus will make his way in there, and Moses and Muhammad. They're all the same, really. I mean, they're not. They're incredibly diverse, right? Many of them are not like Yahweh. They're goddesses in this prayer, not like Yahweh at all. But the purpose of this prayer, we say all of these different names, and through their diversity, through all of these different stories, we can remind ourselves that actually they are all the same. Like a serpent that eats its tail, they all contain one another. And that's the true nature of it. So, the refrain goes, Jaya Jayarati Vina Vinayaka Vina Vinayaka Shri Ganesha. We wave the light to Ganesha, the elephant-headed god, who was beheaded by his father Shiva for not letting Shiva into his house because his mother asked him not to. So Shiva put the head of an elephant on his beheaded son and so resurrected him, not unlike Abraham replacing the sacrifice of Isaac with that of a ram. The stories are all the same, you see. Jaya Jayarati Vina Vinayaka Vina Vinayaka Shri Ganesha Jaya Jayarati Subramanya Subramanya Kartikeya Jaya Jayarati Venugopala Venugopala Venuola Papa Vidura Navanita Chora Jaya Jayarati Venkanta Ramana Venkanta Ramana Sankata Harana Sita Rama Radhe Shama Jaya Jayarati Gauri Manohara Gauri Manohara Bhavani Sankara Samba Sadashiva Uma Maheshwara Jaya Jayarati Raja Rajeshwari Raja Rajeshwari Tripura Sundari Mahalakshmi Mahasaraswati Mahakali Mahashakti Jaya Jayarati Anjaneya Anjaneya Hanumanta Jaya Jayarati Dattatreya Dattatreya Trimutriyavatara Jaya Jayarati Adityaya Adityaya Bhaskaraya Jaya Jayarati Sanistaraya Sanistaraya Bhaskaraya Jaya Jayarati Sankarachaya Sankarachaya Advaita Guravi Jaya Jayarati Sadgurunata Sadgurunata Shivananda Jaya Jayarati Vishnu Devananda Vishnu Devananda Vishnu Devananda Jaya Jayarati Agastya Munaye Agastya Munaye Sri Rama Priyaye Jaya Jayarati Ayapa Swamine Ayapa Swamine Dharma Shastave Jaya Jayarati Jesus Gurave Moses Gurave Buddha Gurave Jaya Jayarati Muhammad Gurave Guru Nanak Gurave Samastya Gurubho Namaha Jaya Jayarati Venugopala Natatra Suyobati Natandra Karatam Nema Vidyobati Kutoya Magni Twameva Bantamina Bandi Sarvam Tasya Pasya Samidam Vivanti Om Gange Kayamune Kaiva Govari Saraswati Narmade Siddhi Kaveri Namastitam Namo Namaha. Neither the sun shines there, nor the moon, stars and lightning. So from where does the light come? From where does the light come? That shines everything. That when that shines, everything shines after that. By its light, all else is lit. 7 holy rivers are invoked. to sprinkle their waters. Om Gange Kayamane Govari Saraswati Narmade Siddhikaveri Namastitam Namo Namaha. This is the Shivananda Arati, David Smith, and the conclusion goes like this. Twameva Mata Chapita Twameva Twameva Bandisha Saka Twameva Twameva Vidya Javinam Twameva Twameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Kayena Vacha Manasendriyarva Buddhyat Manava Prakriti Sabhavad Karomi Adyad Mangalam Parasmahi Narayana Iti Sarmar Payami Sarvadamam Pravichaya Mamikam Saranam Vrija Aham Sva Sarva Papayo Mokshayami Masucha. Whatever actions I perform with my body, speech, mind, senses, my nature, my intellect, or my emotions, all these, I dedicate to you, to all of you. Thank you all so much for being here with me today. It is frustrating seeing Judaism reduced to whiteness. Indeed, that is its own kind of ignorance, although it is deliberate, because in America at least, the Jews did indeed become white. There's a book about it. It's called How the Jews Became White. We are white here. We are not white in Israel. In Israel, we are something else. Ashkenazi, right? But whiteness changes wherever it goes, but behind it is supremacy, right? And Jewish supremacy has been Jewish ideology for as long as there has been Judaism. We are God's chosen people. Imagine the hubris. It's not unlike the hubris of a cloud king on his mountain castle saying, I made it all, simply because he is on the top. How the Jews became white, indeed. So, there once was a city that didn't have a thunder king at the top of the mountain, but rather a goddess, and her name was Ketesh. She was a fertility goddess. She's often shown flanked by men, gods, Egyptian gods with erect penises. Fertility goddess, right? Maybe the city was named Kadesh. Maybe the goddess was named Ketesh. It's difficult to know how any of these things were pronounced, but what I can tell you is that in modern Hebrew there's a word called kadosh, which means holy. And we can think of this story, the story of the prophet Isaiah, who prophesied doom and genocide. And he saw the Babylonians coming into the city of Jerusalem, destroying it, raping, pillaging, destroying the temple. And he saw this while he was sitting at the throne of God, and hosts of angels were flanking Yahweh's feet, covering with feathers so it could not be seen, and they were chanting, Kadosh, 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 holy, holy, holy. And from the time of the prophet Isaiah, we have used the word kadosh and associated it with death, with destruction. And so we can say, the mourner's Kaddish next, for all of those people who died yesterday of coronavirus, and for all those other people, all those other life forms of all kinds, who suffer from the forces of death and injustice, and have suffered since life began 3.8 billion years ago, and will continue to suffer until our lineage is done. And for the last 2,500 years, our ancestors have been saying the following words. Yidkadal v'yidkadash shemei Rabbah, v'yalma divrach yotei v'yamlich malchatei, b'chayachon v'yomechon v'chayed kol beit Yisrael v'agalau b'zman karif v'yimru amin. Yehei shemei Rabbah me'va'arach li'alam amei al-maya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yirman v'yitnasei v'yitadar v'yitalei v'yitalal shemei dekudesha barechu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tush b'chata v'nechemata, d'yamiran b'yalma v'yimru amin. Yehei shlamai Rabbah min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yachol Yisrael v'yimru amin. Osei shalom b'mamav hu ya'asei shalom aleinu v'yachol Yisrael v'yimru amin. Osei shalom b'mamav hu ya'asei shalom aleinu v'yachol Yisrael v'yimru amin. Thank you all so much for joining me today. I will see you here tomorrow to say these words once more. Now, I think actually, there's not many of you here. I think I actually would like to do some pranayama, because I had some abdominal issues last night, and I learned pranayama yoga to respond to some of those issues. Thank you, Organized Chaos. So now, before we shift into breakfast mode, I just want to do 1 or 2 rounds of a practice called... What is the practice called? Kapalabhati. Interesting how words lose themselves in the mind sometimes. Kapalabhati, which translates in English as shining skull. So if you'd like to breathe along with me, you can start by just doing a quick body scan and pay attention to your pelvis, and pay attention to the way the spine emerges out from the pelvis, straight and tall, with your head erect and your shoulders back. And take a deep breath in and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. And on your next inhalation, we're going to prepare for 8 rounds of 8 is 64 pumpings of the lower abdominal muscles. These ones, the rectus abdominis, from the belly button to the pubic symphysis, where the rectus abdominis meets the pelvic bone. These muscles, your 6-pack muscles, we're going to contract them, forcing the air out, passively inhaling in. And we're going to follow that by breath retentions. And this sequence of forceful exhalations and passive inhalations followed by breath retentions will steady the breath, steady the mind, steady the body, make more proprioceptive embodiment possible. It's a lot of jargon, but just feel it. You'll just feel it. It does something, I promise you. So take a deep breath in and exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Now on the next inhalation, prepare for our first round of 8 counts of 8 is 64 pumpings of the lower abdominal muscles. Ready? Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And prepare for our first breath retention of 8 counts of 8 is 64 seconds. Ready? Inhale. Exhale. Good morning, Allison. Good morning, Carson. Hi, Davey. How are you doing? How are you all doing? What did I miss? Skylar, we are doing pranayama because I need it. I need the practice today. I woke up in the middle of the night in some abdominal pain, and so when that happens, as it occasionally does, I can return to this practice and it can steady me. Good morning, it's Pei. Good morning. So, let's do another round of Kapalabhati, if you don't mind. So you can just do another quick body scan, pay attention to the position of your pelvis, how that affects the position of your spine, how your shoulders feel connected to the spine, how the head is on top of the spine, everything in one straight line. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale completely. Exhale fully. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And prepare for our second round of Kapalabhati. 8 counts of 8 is 64 pumpings of the lower abdominal muscles. Ready? Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale completely. Exhale fully. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Now on your next inhalation, prepare for our second breath retention. For 8 counts of 8 is 64 seconds. Ready? Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. It's pay. That is the goal. Doing this exercise will activate muscles in your stomach and abdomen, around your stomach, not in your stomach. There are no muscles in your stomach. It will activate muscles around your stomach which are not often activated, and so, yes indeed, it will make your stomach growl. That is a sign that you are doing it well. And Mugen the samurai, I very much appreciate that you are a self-aware troll. Not many trolls would come onto a live stream and simply say flat out, yes, I am a troll. Kudos to you. Kudos. Good job. Good trolling. Very good. The chickens seem to be pretty excited today. You can hear them clucking. Yes, that's what they do. That is what they do. They cluck. Chickens cluck. And trolls troll. It's Paige. Ah, Paige. Thank you for clarifying. Wallpaper. I drew it myself. It's the tree of life. Let's return to the root. So let's do one more round of Kapalabhati, and then we can have breakfast, shall we? So, ready? Let's do one more quick body scan. Pay attention to your pelvis and the base of your spine. I did draw it. Yes, fractals. Ophelia knows. Ophelia knows better than, like, anyone else here. I'm so happy you're here, Ophelia. You get it. You're good. You're a good one. Fractals indeed. Fractal patterns. Patterns which contain themselves. Not unlike serpents, which contain themselves. Indeed. So, one more body scan. Pay attention to your pelvis, how your spine emerge out from it. and your shoulders and your head and your neck. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale completely. Exhale fully. Inhale. And exhale. On your next inhalation, prepare for our final round of Kapalabhati pumpings. 8 counts of 8 is 64 pumpings of the lower abdominal muscles. Ready? Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale completely. Exhale fully. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And prepare to retain the breath for 8 counts of 8 is 64 seconds. Ready? Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Hi, Jay Rendu. How are you doing? You love how I do the 64 count. Thank you. You're the first person who ever gave me that compliment. Yeah, it's 8 counts of 8, right? On the fingers. It's important. Ophelia, why am I not following you? Alright, now I'm following you, Ophelia. And, I'll make you a moderator next time. I'm doing really well. It's time for breakfast. I'm hungry. We've been streaming for an hour. Oh my goodness. Streaming for an hour. Do you know that I enjoy this? What is my live schedule? I stream for about an hour every morning except Saturdays. This stream is a little bit longer because I wanted to do pranayama, because I really needed to do pranayama. So this stream is going to be more like an hour and a half, but I'm usually on by 8:30 and I'm usually done by 9:30. Today I'll be done by 10. No, I'm not going, Paige. I'm going to have breakfast now. I'll be around for at least another half an hour and you can ask me questions. Breakfast is the most popular part of the stream. Prepare for the trolls to come. You're so welcome, Brewski. Broskaruski. Yeah, I'm gonna have rice and kale now. I'm gonna stop the